friend, mid-major Matt. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, especially after a nice weekend where our alma mater took a 5-star recruit from Michigan. It was a beautiful weekend.
You might be the only Syracuse person that still gets excited about Syracuse.
That's going to change. Our football program is coming. We are coming for everybody.
Oh, come on. Coming where?
Stop being pessimistic. Our head coach is one of the best in the country, and he is a recruiting god.
Okay, where do you put Syracuse football? Like, are you taking it over on their win total? Are you looking at them to make a college football playoff?
They have one of the toughest schedules I think I've ever seen possible. And their road schedule, they may not win a road game this year. So that'll be a little difficult, but it's just, they recruit really well, and our head coach just is a guy that people respect. And so I don't see us going far this year. Our road schedule this year, so the games that we're not playing in the JMA Wireless Dome this year, we're playing Tennessee in Atlanta, which is a tough game. We're playing at Clemson, at SMU, at Georgia Tech, at Miami, and at Notre Dame. All those teams could potentially make the college football playoff. They all won't, but they're all really good. So we better go really good at home, which I think we will. But I'm sorry, you have to get more positive about our football program. It's a good football program.
I know, Shawn Michaels said, we're talking Syracuse recruiting. Get a hold of the show, Ariel. I've got to pull in the reins. Let's get away from Syracuse football. I know you do talk a lot about college football. You start handicapping it around now. What's your process looking like? And again, for anyone that doesn't know, I know we talk a lot of baseball with Mid-Major Matt since we started this show, but his name's Mid-Major Matt because he focuses on mid-majors, Matt.
Yeah, so I have my Phil Steele magazine in hand, and so that's kind of the missing piece to the rest of my procedure. So I'm kind of going through and I do win totals for every team, or at least my opinion. I don't bet on every single one, but I go through every team, and I do all my numbers first before I look at the market's numbers because I don't want to get influenced. And then in places where mine is drastically different than what the market says, I go over it once again to make sure. And I posted on my Twitter account, I am 24, 14, and 2 the last 4 years in win totals. The 1 year I didn't make a profit there, I hit a 10-1 to win the Sun Belt. So I've made a profit each of the last 4 years on my win totals / conference futures. So it's a process that's worked well for me. And so we're going to keep doing it once again.
How did you get the name Mid-Major Matt? Sean wants to know.
So everybody bets on the games that are on TV, and I occasionally do those as well. But I pride myself on knowing a lot more about the group of 5 in college football and the mid-majors in college basketball because there's markets to be had there. There's money to be made. I like betting on FCS football occasionally, and those money moves and line moves are more legit than anywhere else. So I just spend more time on everything else other than the major stuff because there's a lot of other handicappers who can handle that. Just you spend a lot more time on the props in the NFL, there's sides and totals and stuff, but somebody else does those a lot more than looking at the props. So it's just kind of finding your markets and finding your niche when it comes to these sports.
Look at this Cuse slander that we're getting from Joe Dollar. Cuse is a mid-major.
I mean, our basketball program's kind of a mid-major lately. They're really bad, but football, no more. Not as long as Fran Brown's there, we're not going to be mid-major anymore.
Let's go to Major League Baseball. I'm over this Syracuse talk. I can't handle it yet. Noah Cameron. We both like him today. I like him in a different way, which I didn't tell you because you're going to be shocked at how I'm betting Noah Cameron today. You're going under 2.5 earned runs, though, and you're willing to lay the juice at -150. Why?
I mean, he's been tremendous this year. The 2 starts he's been bad was against the Dodgers and Yankees at home. That's not anything to be ashamed about. And when you look, as I put in my little write-up there, the Pirates aren't the Yankees or the Dodgers. And if you look, 14 of the last 19 left-handed starting pitchers have gone under this number against Pittsburgh. Now, there is a little bit of concern. There is potential for a lot of rain, and this game could start late. And I hate having that happen because you never know if it's the pitchers or the hitters that adjust to a later start. So that's a little bit of an issue here. But look, I think if there's a chance there's a delay in game, maybe he gets taken out after 2 or 3 innings. But I really like what Noah Cameron has done so far this season against everybody other than the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Well, of course, now you scared me about Noah Cameron because I like his over 15.5 outs today, Matt. I think that Noah Cameron can stay in this game against a bad Pittsburgh team, and Cameron's proven to do so in most games that he's played, like 70% of his games he's pitched. He's also gone over 15.5 outs, averaging like 17 outs a game, and the Pirates allow starting pitchers to go about 18 outs.
Yeah, if you look at the last couple of lefties, I mean, Peterson went 4 2/3. Skubal had a weird outing and only went 5 2/3, but then Boyd went 6. Sanchez and Suarez went 7. Framber Valdez went 7. You go back even further, Lodolo went 6. Ranger Suarez again went 7. So, like, good left-handed starting pitchers have been able to find a long time in these games. So, yeah, I like it. I'm surprised. I'm the one who's usually coming up with the outs props of the two of us. I'm glad you are diving into this market.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it because I've had to dive into more of these pitcher prop markets because the strikeout prop market has been pretty sharp lately, Matt. And I've noticed that you've noticed that too because you haven't been betting the strikeout props as much either.
Yeah, I had a couple yesterday, and I had a couple on Friday. But I mean, look, I think the strikeout market is easy in terms of this. It's easy because you have a number in mind, and if that number doesn't come up, then it's an easy pass. So if you think that so and so, if you think Noah Cameron's going to have a lot of strikeouts tonight and his number's too low, you're going to take the over. If it's too high, you're either going to take the under or you're just not going to take it at all. So I think the markets have been pretty good. We've kind of seen these odds makers get a whole lot better because of the strikeouts. Maybe they have access to our spreadsheet. Who knows? Maybe somebody has paid for your newsletter and has our spreadsheet.
It's okay. When we have the numbers that both of us look at and say, oh, that one's going to hit, typically it hits in strikeout prop market. So we just have to wait our turn. And sometimes we get thrown a very, my brain's not working today. Sometimes we get thrown an easy lob. I guess that's the way I'll put it. Anyway, let me stop making myself look terrible. Landon Rupp, over 15.5 outs, plus 125. You like this play. Obviously, it's got value. Why is it plus 125?
Well, I mean, he needed a lot of help to get to 5 innings in Philadelphia. I remember that because I had the over on his outs then, and it was 14.5 in Philadelphia when he first saw them. So that's maybe one of the reasons. And look, they've seen, the Phillies lineup has started to hit better. Thank God Chase Burns' outs yesterday was 13.5 and not 14.5 because that hit over. It actually finished at 14.5, so I was glad to get in there early enough. But I like him. If you look at this guy at home, he has gone under this just once. He's a regular 6-inning guy, and that's even against some good opponents at home too. And this is a Giants team that likes to let him go a little bit. In terms of his outs, he had 6 at home against the Red Sox. He had 6 at home against the Braves. He had 6 at home against the Athletics, and he had 6 at home against the Reds. The only bad start he had was April 24th when he went 3 2/3 at home against the Brewers. And I've seen my Phillies enough, and I know that on the road, they're not as good of a lineup. They're just not. And if you look at their road games, 12 of the last 17 right-hand starting pitchers have gone 5 1/3 or innings or more against the Phillies. So I'm taking a shot here. Plus price at plus 125 balances out the minus 150 that we're swallowing on the first bet. So I'm going to take a shot here and hope that my Phillies struggle a little bit early on.
Talking about your Phillies, Christopher Sanchez. Again, I tell people all the time, this is all in the PropQueen.com newsletter. I tell you all to not bet all of these. I just give you all the places that I do find edges in the market. One of the edges that I felt I found was Christopher Sanchez. At plus 105, felt the price was a nice price because he's had at least 6 and 7 of 9 starts this season against high K rate lineups. 3 of the 4 were on the road. And in his last 2 starts against the Giants, dating back to 2022, Sanchez had 6 and 7 strikeouts, and both of them were on the road. The Giants averaged close to 5.5 Ks a game against lefty starters, 12 overs, 9 unders. Thought at plus 105, Sanchez over 5.5 Ks wasn't bad.
Yeah, I'm mad at myself. I didn't take Lopez's over 5.5 yesterday. I took his outs over. It didn't hit. That was another, trend that I liked, is that lefties stay in a while against the Giants. But he had like 7 straight strikeouts last night at one point. Jacob Lopez did. So this was almost the exact same situation as Lopez yesterday, because he was 5.5 over at plus 105. He was in a hitter's ballpark too, and he had 7 or 8 to finish. Sanchez, the one thing that's interesting about him is his road is either really good or really bad. Having 4 in Miami is not necessarily great. Having 5 in Tampa Bay, not necessarily great. Tampa Bay strikes out a lot against lefties. 2 in New York wasn't great. 3 in St. Louis. The Cardinals strike out a lot against lefties. So, I get it. And I saw the 12 he had at home against the Giants. But, Sanchez is a guy that, let's say it's the playoffs, I want him starting at home because he's so much better at home than he is on the road. So that was just kind of my worry here, was that if we get a bad Christopher Sanchez in this sort of situation, maybe he doesn't get the 5.5. But I could see what you're saying here based off of if the good Sanchez should get 7 or 8 tonight, just the bad Sanchez might get 2 or 3.
The show Fade You. Well, I have friends who live in California and like to say, fade you. They love to fade Yu Darvish. It is Yu Darvish's first start of the season, Matt. I was actually kind of shocked because usually you love to fade guys who are making their first start of the season, especially against a low K rate team. Arizona has been kind of hit or miss throughout this season. Sometimes they're low K rate, sometimes they're not, which is why they're kind of in the middle at 4.5 Ks a game. However, Yu Darvish, weirdly enough, I was doing my research, Matt, and I saw that in 2 of the last 3 years, Yu Darvish has made his first start of the season against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And in both those starts, Yu Darvish only had 3 strikeouts. He has good numbers the rest of the way against Arizona, but in the first start of his season, Darvish always has 3 strikeouts when facing Arizona.
So here's the weird thing about Darvish is, did he not have any rehab? I'm looking at his game logs on it.
I rely on you for the rehab starts. You're the one that always talks about the rehab starts.
So
I would assume he's only going 60 to 70.
But even then, he went 4 innings against in El Paso back in May 14th. That's the only thing I see here on his MILB page, which means he may have just been throwing bullpen sessions and things like that. Here's the key. Watch and find out because for some reason baseball has these stupid press conferences and managerial meetings beforehand. The manager's going to say how many innings he's going to go tonight. They'll say, 60 to 75 pitches, 45 to 60 pitches. You might have to sit there on your whatever sportsbook account and literally be ready to click over or under based off of what he's saying.
Do you do that?
No, not really. Because if I'm home, I'll do it. I'm not going to sit there and change my schedule for it. But I'm just saying, if Yu Darvish goes 45 pitches tonight, under 3.5 at plus 130 is a gift, and it will not go off at plus 130. But if he's 65 to 70, here's my problem. I just hit Michael Lorenzen over. Michael Lorenzen just had 7 strikeouts against Arizona last night. The Arizona is not in a good spot when it comes to contact. Look at all the recent pitchers that they faced and how bad they have been. Cal Quantrill had 5 strikeouts. Sean Burke had 7 strikeouts. Senzatella in Colorado had 5 strikeouts. So, I don't trust this Arizona team at all right now when it comes to making contact. So I could see why the juice is heavy towards the over, because Arizona right now is just not reliable.
That's fair, and that was my concern. However, Yu Darvish it was a weird trend when you look at the first 2 starts of his season and he had 3 strikeouts. On the other side of that game, Zach Gallen, I found it to be fishy to begin with that Zach Gallen had 6 punch outs against the Padres his first time around. Now we're down to 4.5. Gallen has not done great this season on the road. He hasn't done great in his career really on the road. Thoughts against the Padres for Zach Gallen on the road?
My problem with the Padres is, I would like the under more if Martin Maldonado was not in. Martin Maldonado has been a guy that I swear every time I take an under, he strikes out every at bat. And in theory, because Gallen goes deeper in games, if he goes 6 innings, there's a chance Maldonado hits 2 or 3 times. And if he strikes out 2 or 3 times, then you're halfway there almost. And now you're asking a bunch of guys who should do well in terms of contact to continue to do well. And this also takes into account like umpire error. If there's a strikeout that shouldn't be, it's an interesting thing for the Padres when they have these really low numbers. I need to make sure Maldonado's either not in the lineup, or if we can minimize how many times he faces a hitter or a pitcher, because he's just so bad when it comes to contact. I'm looking to see, he struck out in his only at bat in that game against Arizona. Like, he is not going to help you at all.
Anything else, mid-major, Matt, that you want to get to for today before I let you go?
I mean, it's interesting seeing the Keter Montero. This is why I love DraftKings.
The chat's talking all about that game right now.
This is why I love DraftKings, is because DraftKings is the only site that puts up the openers. Keter Montero has started to strike out some people a little bit more, but he's also hasn't pitched since the 19th. Now, the Rays have been one of our favorite teams to go take their under, because the Rays have been very good contact-wise, but they have started to show some cracks. If you look at their recent things, they have gone over a whole lot more lately than they've gone under. You look at Dean Kremer had 6, Michael Wacha had 9, Mitch Spence had 5, Paddock had 5. So, like, I don't necessarily trust this Rays team, but how deep is Montero going to go as the opener of sorts? He's gone 5 his last 2 outings, but like, I just feel like that's a really interesting number, 3.5 heavily juiced to the under here. The other thing that's interesting, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, is Richard Fitz, the guy pitching for Boston, is not very good, but he is facing the Rockies. And so, everything comes into play here. Like, Fitz's outs over was 14.5. It's now 15.5. His earned runs allowed is 2.5. So, like, is he really that bad that he's going to give up 3 runs to the Rockies at home tonight? Like, I get he's not a good pitcher, but this is still the Rockies lineup here.
Yeah, it's his 12th MLB start. He hasn't even gotten a win yet. He has a decent ERA at a 3.33. But since returning from his right pec strain, he's allowed 3 runs in 7 innings across 2 starts. When I was looking at the strikeout prop for him, because it was 4.5, I saw 3.5 last night with heavy juice to the over, and it went to 4.5. Yet against the Angels, he went over it once. He had 0 strikeouts, obviously, in just 1 inning, but then 6 strikeouts in 4, but then 1 strikeout in 3 innings against the Reds. It's a matter of how long the Red Sox really keep him in. I saw a little bit of a move against Boston today, and then some buyback on the Rockies, go figure. But I just don't trust this Fitz guy. I know it's the Rockies. I know they strike out a ton. You know me, Matt. When there's not a good sample size, I can't do it.
Well, Fitz, the last start was rain delay. He got rained out. So therefore he went the 3 innings, and who knows what he would have done. He was only at 38 pitches. So he could have gone the 5 or 6 that you would have needed in that game against the Reds. So that one you kind of throw out. It is interesting. The second time he sees the Angels, he pitches better. Not that he hasn't, nobody in the Rockies has seen him before, but like, I just thought it was interesting because usually, what the numbers we get for Colorado games, it's 1.5 runs, earned runs allowed. It's, higher strikeout numbers, and we're not getting any of that stuff here for this game.
Wait, you want to hear a funny story that MLB sent out today? So MLB Network research team sent out that Fitz, he had 5 pitches at or above 98 miles an hour on Tuesday, the fastest of his career, topping out at 98.9. He hopes to reach 100 miles an hour on a pitch at some point because his motivation, the Red Sox director of pitching, Justin Willard, gives out T-shirts that read, quote, "I throw fuego" to pitchers that reach 100 miles an hour.
Okay. I throw fuego. I like that.
I think that's great. The chat's asking if you think the Jays are going to win the American League.
So,
or maybe even the division.
Oh, well, we should ask you that one. If your Yankees are going to show up or the rest of the season. I mean, I'm rooting for the mid-major team, the Rays, because they're the perfect mid-major team in Major League Baseball.
I love the Rays.
I mean, the Rays are fun to watch, and they spend like $6 on their payroll. I'm worried about the Jays pitching. Like you know me, I'm not a Berrios guy. You're not a Berrios person either, I don't think.
Not on the road.
Bassett's 36, Gossman's 34, Max Scherzer's 150. I mean, he's 40, but like, can these guys hold up? Can you continue to get good pitching from Eric Lauer at 30? Like, I feel like the Yankees will make a trade. I feel like, the Rays always make those sneaky trades that will help their team. Like, everybody goes for these headliners, and then the Rays make this trade, and you're like, that's going to help Tampa Bay. So I almost feel like if you're looking for the value play in the American League, I almost feel like it's the Rays more than the Blue Jays, because I trust their general manager.
The Blue Jays always let you down. Every year, the Blue Jays let you down.
I think look, I think probably the Astros are going to win the American League, but I think if you're looking for the value play, I think the Rays are
the perfect year for the Astros to win the American League. Like, no one's talking about them.
Well, because they haven't banged any trash cans lately.
Funny. I don't believe in the Jays. I don't. I want to. I actually don't. The Yankees aren't winning the World Series, and they're not going back. That's the bottom line. I'm looking for someone else who can. And the only team I trust in the American League to do it is the Houston Astros. There is not one other team in the American League that I trust to go out there and win it all. The Yankees are at plus 100 right now to win the division, which is a joke. Like, the Yankees should be so pissed at themselves. Like, you were a heavy, like, you were minus 150 weeks ago. Stupid.
Here's my thing about the Astros, though, that's scary. You're relying on Ryan Gusto, Colton Gordon, and Brandon Walter to make starts in October and September. Like, are we looking at innings limits for these guys? I mean, they're all very young.
Will get somebody.
I mean, it's possible, but like, you got Ronel Blanco, who I believe is injured or was injured.
He's out.
Yeah, you got Lance McCullers, who doesn't know where the ball's going half the time. Spencer Arrighetti, who made a couple starts, maybe he comes back. I don't trust this pitching outside of Framber Valdez and Hunter Brown, and I wonder, is Hunter Brown going to be an innings issue too? His most innings is 170 last year, and he's at 104 this year already. Like, I don't trust this rotation to kind of get there at the end. Like, what are they going to look like? Who's starting game 3? I'm saying
everyone's always down on the Astros, and they always find a way to do it. And Shawn Michael, if you come at me with this Tigers crap, I was the one person that in the world that said that I was taking the Tigers to win that division. So don't come at me with Tiger slander. I backed your Tigers. I said it on the show from day one that I've got the Tigers to win the division while everyone else was on the Royals, and while the sports books still booked the freaking Twins as the favorite for some stupid reason. I had your Tigers at plus 380 to win the division. So Shawn Michael, that I back your Tigers. Don't give me that. But my Tigers this year are my Guardians of last year. A team that's going to make it further than they have, a team that's going to look great, and a team that's probably going to lose at some point in the playoffs. I'm just telling you how it is. That's how I saw the Guardians last year, and that's how I see the Tigers this year. Great team in the regular season, probably going to win the American League, and somehow lose in the divisional round or the ALCS.
Wow. Tarek Skubal can't start all 5 games. So, and Jack Flaherty is very hot and cold.
So with their bullpen.
Casey Mize, this is the thing that when you place a baseball future now, you kind of have to project what October is going to look like. In terms of the rotation, like the Phillies have a lot of pitching, but I'm worried about their lineup. The Mets rotation, I knew that wasn't going to last. They had all those great numbers and then some injuries and stuff. Like, I love
Earl. I love Earl. He's so funny. See, Earl drops the one-liners that make me laugh. We've got a balance here in the chat of people that piss me off, people that I love you anyway because you're always dedicated in the chat, and then the people that make me laugh.
See, but here's the thing. So somebody dropped the Casey Mize. First off, Casey Mize is 9-2. But once again, Sean. I'm just saying, once again, Casey Mize's highest innings was 2021. He had 150 innings. Now he's at 85.2. He was injured once already this season, I believe. My team in October has to have veterans leading the way, like guys who have been through the battles and stuff like that. And the Dodgers, it's almost a good thing for the Dodgers that all their veterans are hurt right now, because they're going to be fresh in October if they make it, if Snell makes it, if Glass now is around. It's almost like they're kind of resting these guys and allowing them to be fresher for October. I know their injury risks as it is, but like
Sean's on drugs today. He's on something. He's coming at you, Matt. He's coming at you.
well, I said I was worried about Hunter Brown in terms of his innings. And yeah, Hunter Brown is really look. I don't like the Astros. I don't like the Tigers either. I want my team to have a solid pitching staff. The Rays. The reason why I kind of like the Rays is because I think they have a bunch of different options. They've got guys that I think can do it. Taj Bradley is all over the place, but Ryan Pepio can be an ace. Shane Baz at times can be an ace. And this team knows how to get their guys through in terms of, look what they just did with Drew Rasmussen. Drew Rasmussen went 2 innings out of nowhere. They baby some of these pitchers so they are ready for October. And they actually have the hitting this year to match up with the good pitching. So that's why I kind of believe in the Rays.
Major Matt, I gotta let you go. I gotta get through the rest of the MLB card with all my wacky hitter props that we'll talk about. Matt, thank you again as always. Good luck to your bets tonight. We'll speak to you potentially later this week.
Yep, sounds good.
See you, Matt.